Welcome to channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrating to Australia? Why did you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell on the side, so once we have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one getting all the insight. Now, exciting night last night as the government of Australia, the Treasurer Jim Chalmers, has finally announced the first budget of the Labor government, the new government, the Albanese government, which is really vital because the budgets require for all the different departments within the government to actually administer and execute or whatever the policy they require, and that of obviously including the Department of Home Affairs, Department of Immigration, which is the one that we are really cared about. Now obviously there has been a winners and losers. You probably have seen a lot of news out there talking about climate change, talking about energy, talking about family, talking about all type of different funding towards the citizen of Australia and different part of the department within the government, the whole government. But what we really care is how the immigration policy is going to be reframed and how the budget will be given into the Department of Immigration. Now, to start going through the news articles, obviously, just let you know, it's a good news for immigration because, as I said, with the historical datas, if the economy is not that good, obviously, during the budget speech, there has been criticism and things like that, but inflation, it's the whole world global phenomenon, and seems to be the economic impact is not going to be a short term, it's going to be a medium term. But in the other side of it, it's the advantage for immigration policy as well, because we have seen a sign that the open up, what I call a golden age of immigration for Australia, has returned. And let's have a look at the news. So this came out from SBS. As usually, SBS has been following with a lot of the immigration matter all the time. And this just came out on the 25th of October, which is right last night. You see the timing there is 7:46 p.m. So the first thing in this morning is I will do this video to just go through all this together with you. So either you got to watch it or listen, it would be really helpful for you. So the immigration part, the part for immigration is a more parent and skill visa on the way. Well, skill visa is the key word because that's the most required and most inquired visa category that, well, the whole nation of Australia and everybody is really cared about. Now, obviously, parent as well, because the delay on parent and the family visa has been enormous over the past 2 or 3 years. Here are the changes. So, the extra 576 million. Well, a little bit short from 800 something million that the former government has actually cut. So, extra 576 million over 4 years will be provided, which is superb, despite it's not meeting the requirement that the previous government had actually cut 800 something. I think it's 300 million short, but over the next 4 years is a very good it's very promising for the whole immigration and visa system to actually reform back to its norm. Okay, the Albanese government will almost double number of parent visa and will significantly increase number of skill visa available as part of federal budget, which is very good because the delay on a traditional contributory parent visa is waiting for about 6 years. Hopefully, if they double, that could be shortened and gets back to its norm. I mean, back to where 2017 should be. Okay, it's also restored the migration funding after it is cut by previous Morrison government. Exactly what I just said. So the 576 million, although doesn't restore fully, but I think that's 2/3 already. That's good enough for the whole nation, because obviously the economy impacts the rise of all these costs there's a lot of savings required to be done by the government. So overall, I think the treasurer Jim Chalmers has actually done a good job. I mean, with limited resources and the rise of costs, that is actually very good by providing 576 million over the next 4 years, which is very, very good. Okay, now coming down here, let's have a look at the big picture. Again, that's a 300 million, sure. But anyway, let's look at this breakdown. I think this is very good where they have this for the skill visa. So employment sponsor, as you can see, the largest number is employment sponsor. So I suspect, as I have predicted, the employment sponsor visa will come in a major reform to make it easier, more streamlined compared to the current system where, you know, an employer required to go through 3 job ads to actually get somebody and waiting for 1 year plus to get a visa. No one's gonna do that. So they have to streamline that. So if they don't streamline that, how do you get 35,000? I don't think that's a possibility there. Now, skill independent, that's for all the 189 and also including 190, and that's including regional and the state territory. So 3 to 100, as you have noticed in the past, I think August and October, they have already used up about 24,000. So the leftover, a couple thousand left for skill independent, that's subclass 189. Regional, that's 491, 34,000. That's very good. So some people come and ask me, if I got invited by 491, do I still wait for 190? I said, look, mate, take it. Because if you get regional, ultimately you get permanent residency. Okay, so just take it. And the state territory nomination, that's subclass 190, 31,000. That is very good as well. So I suspect that we will start to see the state and territory invitation coming down to your door. Business innovation, 5,000. I think that's a fair number compared that we only got about 7 to 8 months to go before this will be refreshed. So I think 5,000 is a fair number. And here again, just to notify, if you are interested about the SIV significant investment visa, that's potentially will be scrapped. So if you want to do it, submit your EOI as soon as possible before they get scrapped. Okay, global talent, 5,000, that's fair as well because we only got about 7 to 8 months to go. So 5,000, that's still a lot to go, and distinguished talent with 300. Now, so what has the Albanese government said about the visa federal budget? So the government has previously announced the extra 36.1 million higher staff, so there's going to be a lot more staff, an increased number from the job and skills summit that we have learned about, from 160,000 to 195,000. Whilst hasn't increased the number available as part of the migration program, the government will introduce a new Pacific engagement visa. I think that's the one that they wanted to replace what the former government had coined out the idea about the agri visa and utilizing and giving out the Pacific Islander country. That's, again, it's more diplomatic. You should see the tension between Australia and China. They're trying to pull more diplomatic allies within the Pacific Rim. So I think the government of Australia is also utilizing this visa as a diplomatic should I say weapon? Probably not. Probably a engagements. Okay, so there are 3,000 places available each year from next year. Now, that's for extra. That's for extra. Let's read this sentence again. Up to 3,000 places will be available each year from next year, and this will be in addition to 195,000 available as part of the permanent program. So what does that mean? That means the next 4 years, every year they will add 3,000 more. So 2023 and 2024 were likely to be 198,000, and the year after will be 3,000 more. So I think that's what the plan is all about. The number of skill visa available increased significantly. That's almost double. We have gone through that a video a long time ago. So ultimately, now the budget's here. So we are expecting towards the end of the year and early next year, you will see an increased number of people getting invited, which is very good. Parent visa made available, so they're going to be a lot more. It's going to be 8,500 this year, so that will actually fasten and actually make the process and delay resolve. There's more humanitarian program to be coming in, so I suspect this will probably increase because of the current global phenomenon going on in Europe and Asia. But see what happens. Okay, priority of skill visa will be given to people living overseas. Great. So a lot of people unsure. They'll say, "Oh, that's not." They got disadvantages. But look, if you're already in Australia, you probably got good jobs. I think ultimately this will be balanced back. And to New Zealanders who live in Australia for many years. Okay, expanded immigration program bring millions of extra tax revenue. Again, you see, that's again the key here, because of the deficits and the economy issue and the inflation rise of the costs of everything. The change of this would bring extra 935 million tax revenue. You see that the immigration, the migrants, doesn't just come and take jobs away. They also create jobs as well. Once they create jobs, that also brings the revenue, because every job you got earning, salary, and you got pay, income, there's tax to the government. So that again is the major boost there. Whilst Australian thinks increased immigration takes away the job of local independent economist Chris Richardson said that the same argument was made married women entering the workforce in the late 1970s. So again, I think getting and bringing and creating a larger economy for a nation is always a good thing. Is always a good thing. Let's have a look response from the community groups. So the Asylum Seekers Resource Center praise, of course, because the number of the humanitarian program has been increased. 2022 and 23 federal budget failed to live up to public expectation of more compassionate and fair country of refugee. Again, so that has been increased. And what else? Children's Australia said that they welcome 1.37 billion additional spending on foreign and Pacific Southeast Asia, and said that will be more required despite a deficit, increased number of severity of crisis. So that's what's happening out there. So again, this is a very quick overview for the budget October 2022 and how the immigration policy has been affected. From what I can perceive is good news. There's increased number of skilled family, humanitarian visa, more money thrown into I think the major thing, again, that's going back on the top of the news article here, the major thing here is that $576 million has been thrown into the Department of Immigration. Now, why is it major? Look, those numbers, increase of skill visa, increase of family visa, has been talked about for the past 3 months, correct? But a lot of people have experienced there's not much of movement at all. Why? Money is not there. So last night we confirmed 576 million thrown into Department of Immigration. Obviously that will really turn on the engines, and I'm expecting from today a lot more invitation, a lot more visa, and improvement on the delay and backlog will be resolved by end of year and towards the early next year. Anyway, should you have more question, query, more than welcome to leave comment right down below. I'll see you next video. Goodbye.